Make a face like that.
So it gets 1,000,000 views. What kind? Well, so it gets 1,000,000. Are you sure?
Yes. Our manicures with Liza are always a lot of fun. This is one of those times. And I'm showing her hands up close. And let me remind you, these are the hands of a young, practicing, working hairdresser and colorist. Basically, Liza's hands are always in water, and she often heats her nails with a hairdryer. There were gel tips here. On top, we had colored gel from Imen, everything held up perfectly. And today we'll do a tutorial using materials from BSG. I've already removed the coating here, leaving thin bases from the gel tips. We used Easy Crafts here. These are half tips, and this is how they look after a month, after such continuous active wear. Since Liza often works with her hands and is always working with her hands in water, of course her cuticle isn't in the best condition. Here a safe drill bit comes to my rescue, which allows me to properly open up the cuticle pocket. Well, next we'll move on to the application, the classics. Talc and Domix are things none of our manicures are complete without. And the standard procedure is a drill bit with a red band, or sometimes I also like to use a yellow one. Despite the hands looking dry, I want to say that the skin here is super sensitive, so we don't go too far or too deep. Although probably you wouldn't say so from this video because it's shot in macro and it looks like the drill bit is going all the way up to the elbow. But that's absolutely not the case. We just slightly lifted the cuticle, and before trimming we decided it was time to change the shape. I'm showing a simple way to change the shape. I marked the corners for myself and simply filed them off with a nail file. Next, all that's left is to round them off. My nail file is 100-180 grit, and as always it's on a foam base from the Nippon Nippers brand. I check myself from every angle to be sure I like everything. I still need to file the inside, then move on to the nippers. I'm showing the nippers number, and now I'm just listening to the sound. Oh, that delightful clicking of the nippers. Shout out to everyone who loves really long blades. And to spite everyone who writes reviews on marketplaces saying, "Ugh, I fell for Lavrenteva's ad and bought nippers from Nippon Nippers." Ugh, what crap, and so on. Their nippers are great. I don't know, maybe you just don't know how to use them properly, or maybe there was a dishonest buyer before you and you just got a replacement. Those situations happen too. But with gels there are never any issues because they always come sealed. I've already opened this one. Go back and rewatch if you didn't notice. This is shade number 12 from BSG and it's truly magical. But before applying the hard gel, of course we need a primer and we definitely need a base coat. Here I'll use Acrobaza, also from the BSG brand. I'll apply it in a medium layer, not rubbing it in, not too thick, just a normal regular layer without leveling. While it's drying, let's take another look at the shade of the pink gel. Well, I don't know, some people might think of Barbie. For me, it probably reminds me more of some kind of jelly candies. I didn't really cut anything out here. I really want you to get a feel for applying the gel. It's incredibly pleasant to work with. I don't know how else to say it. I just love it, and I just work with this gel. It's really awesome. And here, by the way, we were still naively thinking that we would just have a pink nail, but of course no, I'm pinching it just a little bit. You can't pinch too much here because Liza's nails are actually very wide. And at the end I'll show you her hands again on Liza herself in real life. Because, you know, it's one thing to see the nails up close like this, not always from the most convenient angle when you're working, right? And they can look wider than they actually do in real life. And it's a completely different thing, of course, to see the nails when a person is actually using them, living with them, and how it looks from the outside. Of course, I use an e-file. I just showed you this one, but I understand there's little hope that anyone will be able to get one. Still, keep an eye on the marketplaces and on the Magic Bits website and try to find it, because this is truly the best carbide bit for filing in hard-to-reach places. I really recommend it, but it's hard to get. And for the really tough spots, I finish up with a sharp bit with a blue band. And as you can see, it handles gel just perfectly. There's no need to worry that it will get clogged. There's really no need. The main secret is that I thoroughly degrease the nails from all sides. And then you can file gel, cuticles, and anything you want, and your bit will be just fine. Of course, as long as it's a quality one. Next, we check the free edge a little bit. Of course, after using the bit, it's a good idea to smooth it out with a file. I thought the nails were still a bit thick, even though we're not aiming to make them super thin. Since Liza works with her hands, we do need a certain thickness. So, I removed a little bit, and this is the result I got after filing. Next, we're going to use a top coat. This is also a top coat from the Beige John line. It's called Hard. I apply it in a regular layer. I don't use it to even out my nails, since they're already filed and don't need more smoothing. But things didn't go as planned here. By the way, your finger is the best tool for rubbing in powder. It always works perfectly. Some people use silicone brushes, which I can also use for corners. But overall, I love applying the powder with my fingertip. Here are a couple of shots with lowered exposure. It looks really beautiful. And don't start saying that we ruined the whole gel. We didn't ruin it, we decorated it. And as for the powder, honestly, I don't even know which one I have. It's just one of the many powders I usually order for myself on Wildberries. It's one of the mermaid powders. I can say that its distinctive feature is that it's coarse milled, so it's not fine but rather grainy like this. But of course we didn't stop at the powder. I have a limited edition new product here from iMe. It's this kind of gel paint that I was using while filming. Honestly, I got a bit carried away with it. It looks kind of magical. It reminds me of those mercury effect paints, but its formula includes some kind of holographic particles, and because of that it looks very unusual. But the coolest thing is that, unlike most mercury effect paints, this particular one, the holographic one, it doesn't lose its shine after applying the top coat. Because we've all experienced that situation where you dry it for a long time and apply it carefully, but once you put on the top coat, all that metallic effect just turns into some kind of silver stripe. This paint, besides looking amazingly shiny on the palette, will also look just as great on nails and in real life. I left more of these mesmerizing moments for you. Honestly, I really love watching this myself. The paint is very easy to work with. It's quite liquid and loads onto the brush easily. By the way, the brush I'm using is the one I use for French manicures. I can't say for sure if it's from Planet Nails or Rublev, but it's one of those. The main thing to look for is the length of the bristles. In my mind, it should be about 2 centimeters, so lately I've been choosing really long brushes. We've cured our polish. I'm sealing it with top coat. As you can see, absolutely nothing changes, and that's exactly the result we want. We applied the polish directly onto the rub-in powder and then sealed it with top coat. Of course, we didn't have any room for mistakes, but everything turned out absolutely fine and beautiful. And now I suggest we take a look at the nails. Not super close up, not through a macro lens, but just how they look in everyday life. We ended up with a rather elegant, delicate and feminine hand, and here is Liza, trying her best, posing with all her might and always getting upset that you don't like it again. She says, "Well, what can I do if I have fingers like this? My parents tried and tried, but sometimes they just didn't try hard enough." She jokes, but these hands of hers are magical because she does absolutely amazing hair color work. And yes, she has a very unusual taste. She likes to have different designs on each hand and really loves creating her own manicures. So usually Liza comes up with the designs herself. By the way, her middle finger grows a bit sideways.